you living? To all 8 of my viewers that actually watch these videos, I did y'all a disservice. I did a bunch of work yesterday and I didn't film a second of it. And to be honest, it's because I didn't know what I was doing. I real life just coming out here to do stuff. I don't have no plan. I just kind of start doing stuff, and then I let the day kind of take me where it goes and let the car kind of tell me what I should do and what I shouldn't do. But all I planned on doing yesterday was taking out the gas tank, and then this happened. You look in the car, and this is where the normal fuel head is, but I cut another hole. This is where the surge tank is going to sit. I had previous issues where my car would fuel starve going around corners anytime I got below like half a tank of gas. So if I started to drive hard, it would run out of gas through the corners. So this time I got a big surge tank, and I'm gonna cut my fuel tank in half, but I want to still be able to keep the fuel like low, because fuel is one of the heavier things you put in a car. You got a 20-gallon jug full of fluid, it's gonna be pretty heavy. And even though the surge tank is not that big, it's only 1.5 gallons, I didn't want that weight higher up than what the stock gas tank would be. So here is our stock factory fuel tank. So what you gotta do, since gas is obviously super duper flammable, is you gotta rinse it all out and you gotta fill it to the brim with water. So then try to get it level or get all of the air pockets like out. And then when I cut it, I'm even gonna have to cut it with the water still in it. But if you see, it mounts in 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm getting rid of this half of it. So I'm gonna go from here and just cut it in half. That's where it's the thinnest in the saddle, so it's only about that thick right there. And what'll happen is all of the gas will slosh over here in a turn, and it won't make it back to the fuel pump by the time it's time to go straight and I need power again. So I will exit a corner and be on the straight, and the car will just die. So we fixing that, and we still gonna have 3 spots to mount it. 1, 2, and 3. The lines go over the top, just how they are now, but instead of going straight down the side of the car, they go to the top of the surge tank. Then the surge tank will feed the rest of the vehicle. So I had to make a lot of stuff in order to get it to work that way. So let's look at some of that. I didn't necessarily know how I was going to be able to mount the surge tank in the way that I wanted to. So when I cut this hole through here, I noticed that there's 2 studs hanging down for like an air deflector type thing that sits in front of the fuel tank. It's like a thin piece of metal, and it's bolted onto the bottom of the car. So I'm using those 2 studs, and then I made this. So here we go over how I did this. This is a piece of square stock that I smashed down on one end and make it flat to mount to the body. And as you come this way, you get to the end, piece of flat stock that's welded onto the end and welded all the way along the sides with an L at the top. I'll make another one of these to go on the bottom of the car, and then these will be the 2 supports for like the floor to hold up the surge tank. Here, I'll put this one in so then that way you can see how it'll look. It's not the easiest to see because it's dark under here, but there's a stud, there's a flat bar, it goes up, and it'll be, I was thinking about doing rib nuts, but I think I'm gonna nut and bolt it through here. I don't want the rib nut to pull through, because that'd be awful for my surge tank to fall out of the car while I was driving because the rib nut failed. But that's one of them. And then it'll be another one on the other side. So I only made that one, so then that way I could show y'all me working on the second one. Because according to Dalton, if I show myself putting hands on parts and things don't just end up magically done. So I'll take y'all through the process of me making these little brackets or like this support to hold in my surge tank. Okay, here is my little fab station. It's just a corner with a vise. It's an anvil right there. I need to hit stuff, and my welder. But this is stuff that we need. I already made another like flat stock or square stock with a flat end. This is all measured up in the correct length that it needs to be. It's like 1/8 inch steel, so this will be okay. First thing we're gonna have to do is make little slits here, so that way the center of this fits in this. This is 1.25 inches wide, and this is 3/4 of an inch on the inside of this. All right, so we'll measure and go 1/4 inch in on each side. So it's just 2 marks. We do 2 slits like that to center this. Grinder is gonna be loud. So now we got 2 slits and 1 slit going across the bottom. The slit across the bottom is to help it so how we bend it, it'll like want to bend because this is pretty thick stuff. Just grab the vice grips and bend this tab up. So now it looks like this. And this tang will fit perfectly into the middle of here. So that gives it a spot to land on. It'll be nice and flush, and I'll just weld like in this baby's butt and around the outside of this. So let's clean these up so that way we can stick them together. All right, more loud grinder noises. Since we won't be able to get to the inside of like the box section, we need to be able to paint it so it don't rust. So I just use this Sim zinc weld, and it works pretty good. So weld through primer. So that way, even though I'm gonna paint it, I'll still be able to weld on top. So this is the setup and how it's gonna look before I put the tacks on there. And like I said, we'll weld in that little baby's butt. That's what we call it at work. So I don't know if that's weird, but using work terms outside of work, I need a day off. Okay, let's get this welded. It's one piece now. We'll drill a hole here at the top first, and we'll throw some paint on it. Makeshift paint booth, and again, another Sim product, trim black. It just lays super flat no matter how thin or heavy you put it on this end. Let's get this all in one color to match the other one.